We got the story from Fox. McDonald's drive-thru customer spots savage sign telling people to be patient. No one wants to work. This is kind of incredible to see someone at McDonald's actually put up, because it's
Is there a photo?
There's a video of it. I can't play the video. Well, actually, I think I can, but I'd rather just read it. So it's a TikTok user named Brittany Logan spotted the sign, called it savage. It says, "We are short-staffed. Please be patient with the staff that did show up. No one wants to work anymore." Huh.
Yeah,
man.
The great Elon Musk quote: "If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff."
Yes.
Yeah.
But
very controversial.
Simultaneously, he supports UBI, sort of. I've heard quotes.
All right,
so,
listen. Am I going to cry about, chemical garbage food not being pumped out to poor people? Not really. It is a problem. Don't get me wrong. But part of me deep inside is like, I just want to gloat that McDonald's can't, keep cranking out this chemical garbage food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I certainly understand that. I also do wonder how much of a factor is the fact that people have been really, like the psychological damage over the last year is really something. I mean, pretty much everybody in the positions of authority in this country were just working overtime to terrify the American people about this floating abstraction of a germ that they have to live their lives in constant fear and always be inside and covering your face and social distancing. And I'd imagine there are some people, now you mix that in with the economic incentives of like, we'll pay you a little bit if you don't work. There's probably a lot of people who are like really scared.
Well, it reinforces the belief.
Yeah. But I honestly, I don't know, man. I think it's probably just a lot of people being like, don't gotta work, ain't gonna work. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of that too.
Like, look, before any COVID stuff, we saw the Green New Deal, and what did it say? The frequently asked questions put up by AOC.
Unwilling or unable.
Unwilling to work. They said they were going to provide, what does it say, economic access to those unwilling to work. Unwilling. It's like your parents going down to the basement and they see you sitting there in your own filth and like, get a job. No, shut up, Mom. Then AOC's like, we should help him and give him money.
The best part of it was that they put it up on her website in the frequently asked questions, and then when people started making fun of it, they were like offended that you'd bring it up. You're like, oh, you're gonna bring up that old thing, and you're like, it's from your website. Like, what? Yes, we're gonna ask you about it.
So
they said it was a first draft.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to go up.
There's a viral meme where somebody tweeted. It's like a viral tweet. This guy tweeted, "Yo, my job started saying they were ending remote working and people started quitting. The revolution is here." Like, there's actually a subreddit called anti-work. There are people who are like, I don't want to work. So the crazy thing is, when you talk to a lot of these leftists about this stuff, they say things like, yeah, but who would want to work at McDonald's, Like, is that a question of status or is that a question of money? Because, I think a lot of McDonald's actually pay $15 an hour. The problem is unemployment's paying more than that. And so McDonald's will have to increase. This is why UBI makes no sense. Here's where this ultimately ends up. What's happening now with this unemployment policy is just eroding the base of the economy, which will ultimately fall apart. UBI doesn't work. You know why? You ever watch The Hunger Games? Mm-hmm. You guys seen The Hunger Games? Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the Capitol in The Hunger Games, they were gluttons who would drink Ipecac to barf to eat more food. They did something like that in Rome, didn't they? Like probably. Vomitoriums or something.
Like after feasting, the feathers and stuff.
Yeah, they go barf and then eat more.
It's not where the word vomiting is not where vomitorium comes from, but that may be true.
Something like that. The point is, in the Hunger Games, they have the districts who have to work. And, the main character is in the coal mining district. And the people in the Capitol don't do work. This is what these people truly want. The leftists who are advocating for this stuff want to live in the Hunger Games, but they want to be the Capitol. Another example is how they want student loan forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Now, I actually am for some form of forgiveness, maybe forgiving interest rates.
Yeah.
Saying pay back the principal of what you owe now, but we're not going to keep raising the interest rates because that's insane. Make it easy to pay off, but not free. How insane is it that the left right now is advocating for the working class people to pay off the debts of the highest income earners in the country? Yeah. People with college degrees have higher salaries than people who don't, and they want the working class people to pay off their debts. That is the capital city in the Hunger Games. Now they're saying they have these memes where it's like, if you can't afford to pay someone more than they could make on unemployment, then you are exploiting poverty. Bro, they're paying people $16 an hour to be on unemployment. Like, how much? Like,
how long is that going on?
So it's been going on for a year, and Biden's saying he's going to extend it.
Okay, so
The
like
plan
another
right now
year.
is with the new $2 trillion relief package is to keep it going.
Obama did that 2008, 9, something like that.
But that was I think that was an extension on standard unemployment.
Yeah, it was an extension to 99 weeks back then. But the thing is, like, you see Biden talking about just the other day when he gave that speech to the distanced, masked Congress, and he's talking about taxing corporations and how they don't pay their fair share, and they have all these tax loopholes and all this. And even forget the fact that Joe Biden's been a senator for 85 years, and he's written all of these, tax loopholes into the law, or at least signed them into the law. The truth is that he just signed one of the biggest, if not the biggest, corporate welfare bills in history. And to sign that into history and be giving all of these money to giant corporations and then turn around and say, we really got to get some of this money back is just so disingenuous. I mean, stop giving them money. Stop taxing. And this is the same thing you're saying with bailing out student loan debts. Stop taxing working people and paying the well-to-do with the money that you got. If we can't get that basic thing right, what are we talking about here?
This is why Democrats want 16-year-olds to vote. Because 16-year-olds are going to be sitting there and being like, dude, it's like so dumb that they're homeless people. Like, we have houses, just put the homeless person in the house. Like, are you dumb? And that's what they'll be voting for. Right now, you have these 20-something Democratic socialist types who are like, the Biden administration needs to be printing money and increasing unemployment. This is absurd. People are losing their jobs. And it's like, have you ever had a job? Well, no, but that's not the point. And then it's like, okay, so what you're saying is the government should borrow tons of money, print tons of money, devaluing the savings of the working class, while all the businesses are shut down so that people are forced to buy from Amazon. So basically, they're devaluing the money you have and then giving what they've extracted from you to Amazon and Walmart and these other companies. That's great. That's a great leftist policy. But hey, don't get me wrong. These are the people that are coming out right now cheering for Facebook and laughing about it. That is until they get censored and they come begging for help, saying, please, we're the free speech warriors. I got censored.
So how many states are open?
I think for the most part, like the blue ones are like somewhat opening.
So now it's basically like sort of a battle of the states, in a sense.
Dude, we're being torn to shreds. You look at, I think I mentioned this a while ago. Joe Biden said, we're going to have another lockdown if we need it. And I'm like, Florida's already open for business. So who's Joe Biden talking to? Only the blue states.
Yeah.
When he comes out and says, do X, do Y, lock things down, and Texas is like doing the exact opposite, he is not speaking to a single person in Texas.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my life in our country. And there's been, there's always examples of where like the media has their propaganda and real people don't really believe it. But there's something about watching, Fauci and the CDC guidelines, and you'll see on CNN and they're like, hey, we've just decided you can take your mask off outside. And you're literally like looking out your window at kids just playing with their masks off. And it really feels like something out of the Soviet Union. Like the propaganda has come down from Pravda, and you're looking and you're like, we've been doing this forever. But what are you talking about? And I know there are some people who haven't. I know
no. What I mean is, local ordinances have already ended on outdoor masks.
But that's my point. I mean, who? Like, even of liberal people who kind of believe in the whole, like, we're supposed to wear masks thing, who has been following all of the rules since?
No,
are people still living like it's March of 2020?
Wait,
You're not hugging a family member?
What I'm saying is they actually lifted the mandates in Maryland, for instance, and then Fauci's coming out later, and I'm like, they already lifted the mandates. What are you talking about?
Well, that's it. And it's almost like they're going like, now we've given you our official national orders that you can do the thing that you've been doing for 10 months. But go ahead and do and it's very bizarre. And you see this, right? Like in Florida, in Texas, which both states people are flooding into. Yeah. People have been living relatively normal lives. And to pretend that we're just now getting to the point where outdoors you can take your mask off is really, there's such a disconnect.
I don't think
reality.
South Dakota ever even had that.
Yeah.
Outdoor mask mandates. I don't think so. Texas and Florida completely opened up. But I bring up Maryland specifically because it's like, they got a Republican governor, but it's a blue state.
Right.
They lifted their outdoor mask mandates a little while ago. And now I see like Fauci coming out. I'm like, who's he talking to? California and New York. He's not talking to the rest of the country.
So isn't this the 10th Amendment in practice? Like, okay, from the example of Maryland, I've never seen people outside with masks, period, except the occasional moronic runner who decides to wear his mask while he's running. But isn't this the 10th Amendment where states are just deciding to do their own thing? Because this was never delegated to the federal government.
Well, this is, it's a real sick perversion of the 10th Amendment if it is that, because truthfully, none of the states have the right to do what they've done. They don't have, the 10th Amendment basically says that anything that is not expressly delegated to the federal government is left to the states or the people. So that if something isn't, delegated to a federal power, the states can do it. But there is no legality to the states violating constitutionally protected rights in the Bill of Rights. So like Cuomo and Newsom and all
Whitmer.
of these governors, they did not have the right to shut down a religious ceremony, to tell you that you can't peacefully assemble.
Okay.
What we've dealt with over the last year has been a true rise of many dictators amongst governors who have taken power to themselves that should be crushed by the federal or local governments or anyone willing to do it. And to me, this was the great failure of Donald Trump in 2020, that he did not do anything to listen. If some one diner in Alabama somewhere put a whites only sign outside their door and the state government didn't want to do anything about it, the feds would come in there and say, no, you cannot do that. You don't have the right to do that. And okay, fine. But the Cuomo and Newsom can just shut down their entire states, and nobody's going to come in and tell them, like, sorry, this is a free country. We have constitutionally protected rights. The fact that didn't happen from anyone is unconscionable.
And when there were lawsuits against the state for doing it, Cuomo went, okay, I'll make another executive order and then sue me for that one.
Yeah.
And they just kept doing it.
That's right.
So you mentioned Donald Trump, and he didn't handle this. Let me slow down a second. A lot of people talk about the response to COVID, specifically having to deal with the spread. And they say Trump didn't do a good enough job. And I say, well, let's be honest. There's no control group by which to measure whether he did or didn't do a good job. You can argue that there's some things in your opinion may have been better. Honestly, I don't know all that much. So I think Operation Warp Speed must have been a good thing. A lot of people are really excited, cheering on Joe Biden for the vaccines that Donald Trump helped make happen. But Donald Trump did not use the power of the federal government to protect people's constitutional rights for a year. And you know what? What did we see? As riots swept across the country, did Donald Trump do anything about it? No. And people were like, well, hindsight is 2020. Now that we know that he lost, people are saying at the time, yeah, but they'll call him a fascist, say, here it comes. And then, he's trying to win in November. It's like, well, he lost anyway, so he didn't stop any of the extremists. They went around burning things down and smashing stuff. And then we're all left holding the bag with the Biden presidency, who also is doing nothing, and it's only getting worse. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.